All right, thanks for tuning in to Truth Boost channel. I am Wu. Like, share, and subscribe. Today we're going to be talking about conspiracy theories. I'm going to explain to you what they are, how they are created, and how they spread. And then I'm going to give you a few practical options to analyze a conspiracy theory or something that you currently believe is a conspiracy theory. Okay, so let's get started. What is a conspiracy theory? A conspiracy theory is basically a story that tries to explain an event. It usually attributes that event to some secret organization, some secret group. They're powerful, they have bad intentions. That's the usual narrative or underpinning of a conspiracy theory, right? It's usually pretty complicated, even when an explanation or more reasonable explanation for a particular event is much more plausible. It's much more, likely to be the case. Conspiracy theories tend to be large. These people are doing XYZ for XYZ reason, right? They're complicated. Typically, sometimes they're straightforward, but they're usually pretty complicated. And then finally, conspiracy theories tend to come up during times of unforeseen, unpredictable events, uncomfortable events, right? That's when they usually come to the forefront. People are looking for an explanation to something that caught them off guard, that makes them feel very uncomfortable, and typically that they feel affects their life in some way, shape, or form. Okay, so that's sort of what a conspiracy theory is. Large, complex story, nefarious, bad actors behind the scenes, powerful, controlling the event. They usually pop up when an unexpected event, an uncomfortable event occurs. Okay, so that's a conspiracy theory. Now, why do we believe them? The human brain, it's really designed from a storytelling perspective. Number one, it likes stories. We do, right? That's why much of human history was oral in nature before it was written down. Storytelling, art forms of that nature are just part of what humans are. And also, conspiracy theories, they come up because people need certainty. They don't like to feel uncomfortable. People need to bring certainty to their life. They need to be able to understand the root cause of a particular event. That's natural in all of us. Another reason why they're created, people naturally have an us versus them mentality. What do I mean? When a conspiracy theory comes up, think about it. What are people typically saying? This powerful group did XYZ to negatively impact our life, okay? It's a powerful group, it's a shadow group. We need to band together to deal with this issue, to number one, understand the issue, and then number two, to deal with the issue. So it really starts to solidify the group. It's us versus the boogeyman, okay? So that's why people like conspiracy theories. We have a tribal sort of mentality. That's still true even in 2025. And then a third thing is that the creation and the spread of conspiracy theories has really accelerated with the digital age. We have access to a 24-hour news cycle, all different types of news, right? Not just the sort of big players in the space. And then obviously we have social media where anybody, including myself, right? You're on YouTube watching my video, can say anything that they would like. So that has really led to the spread of conspiracy theories, right? There's no gatekeeper, there's no fact-based organization checking what people say, so anyone can say anything, all right? So we talked about what a conspiracy theory is, how they're created, and why they're so prevalent and why they're really spreading in modern life. Now let's talk about some sort of practical tips to dealing with them. As I've said in a number of my other videos, I like to give practical solutions to problems. I just don't want to talk about problems. So the first thing, you're hearing a conspiracy theory, you're diving deep into it. What you want to do is you want to look for original evidence, right? Is there evidence that actually supports this thing? Is it documented? Is it from a credible source? Real conspiracy theories, they have a foundation. They have leaked official documents. They have records. They have eyewitness testimony, right? If you're looking at a conspiracy theory and you cannot find any original evidence, that should be a major red flag for you, okay? The next thing you should do when you're trying to analyze a conspiracy theory, analyze the source. Who's telling you about that conspiracy theory? Are they an expert in that field? Do you believe them? Are they reputable, right? The information that they present should be evidence-based, it should be fact-based, it should be real, okay? Also, one thing to keep in mind is a lot of these conspiracy theories, they play on your emotions. The boogeyman is coming, right? If you're dealing with this large conspiracy theory where the person telling it to you is super emotional, super passionate, and they're not really presenting facts. They're just trying to hone in on the emotional aspect of it. That's another red flag. Also, when they dismiss any sort of reasonable explanation about the cause of the issue, if they just dismiss it outright, or they become very emotional with you when you're trying to come up with, hey, maybe this is another explanation. So conspiracy theories, they typically rely on a lot of emotion. Okay, so watch out for that red flag. And then the third thing you should do, obviously, is you should test the claim, kick the tires on it. Here's the evidence that supports this theory, write it down. Here's the evidence I found that maybe goes against this theory, and compare the two, right? You don't have to blindly walk into the abyss. You have access to the technology. Everyone has a supercomputer in their phone, right? In the form of their phone in their pocket right now. So test the theory, okay? So that's what it is. We're living in a very sort of 24-hour news cycle type of world. Anyone can tell you anything. I've told you today what a conspiracy theory is, how they're created, how they're spread, and give you some tactical options on how you can sort of analyze a conspiracy theory. Okay, do your homework, do your legwork. Let me know if you found value in this video in the comments. I'm interested to hear your thoughts as well. So thank you for tuning in. Again, like, share, subscribe, and I'll talk to you later. See you.